Hello.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't sure if you're gonna actually respond.
Oh, gotta respond.
Wasn't sure if you got an ego after getting 100 listens on your
Oh
first
my
episode.
God. We're famous.
We are so famous. The scene has never been the same.
Yes. Well,
We even have imposters now.
oh yeah. Yeah. Shout out to, what are they called?
They're called the pitch.
The Pitch. That's right. Shout out to The Pitch for copying us.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sure they've had this in the works for a while. I actually listened to their first episode, and they had some really, really good analysis. So if you guys are looking for some other Rocket League content, go give them a listen. I think they're on Spotify under the pitch. Like it's called like the pitch colon like NRLCS podcast. But yeah, I mean just like the more content out there the better.
Exactly. And hopefully we actually get all of our content out there and my computer doesn't decide to just stop working. But I did just, to make sure we are recording the whole thing. I'm actually recording on 3 separate platforms right now just to make sure nothing gets lost.
Yeah, we are a very ghetto podcast. I took some YouTube classes on how to do sound production. So between that and Colin's triple insurance policy on his recording, hopefully we will have no technical issues.
Yep. Yep. So, we have some orders of business to take care of.
So important
Is that
business.
how that would be worded? Yeah. So, because after this episode, we will no longer be spamming the RL Esports subreddit with our posts. We would love it if you guys could follow us on Twitter or Discord. Twitter is at Talkin Carball, just the same as our title, no spaces or anything. We currently have 0 followers, so a prize goes out to our first follower. Maybe we'll shout you out as long as you're not like a spam account.
I specifically want to shout it out if it's a spam account.
Yeah.
Think about how many new followers we'll get if we shout out a spam account.
Yes.
That's genius marketing. We also have a Discord now too, and I think for that we'll probably just link that to the YouTube video.
Yeah, can you also throw it? Is there a way to throw it in the Spotify description as well, or?
Possibly. Yeah, there definitely is. I'll try and figure that out. We actually had a failed marketing attempt this week.
I didn't think we were going to talk. I didn't think we were going to talk about this.
Oh, I got to air it out just because I'm sad. I need. If I had to live through that, then everyone else does too. But a couple months ago, I made an edit of a Justin clip and put like commentary from a Messi goal like in soccer behind it, and it went pretty huge. Like it was like well over 400 upvotes, and so I was like, oh, like I'm gonna make another one with one of my own ranked clips. And
ranked Rumble to be clear.
Equal tier as RLCS, and throw the Justin 0-second audio on top of it, and then use that to promote our Discord, and it just bombed.
Yeah, well,
out of pity, if you could listen to us now, that would be fantastic.
Maybe if we get enough requests, we'll re-release the video so everyone can see it.
I don't think we're gonna get any requests.
I don't think we are either. All right, let's. You want to get into what we're actually supposed to be talking about?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. So where we left off last time was supposed to be EU rankings. Now we ranked EU. You guys didn't hear that. And I've gone ahead and deleted what we actually ranked and completely forgotten what we actually did. So
no clue.
Discussion should be, for the most part, fresh. There'll definitely be some repeated takes, but it's all right.
I'm a week older and wiser now. My brain has developed more.
Yeah.
And I have a more analytical mind for Rocket League.
And you've watched all the Rocket League that's happened in the past week.
Which of course.
Pretty much nothing.
Yeah. I'm sure there was something.
All right.
So, power rankings. So when we do this, it is a focus on history, so like placements from last season, just performance across all of RLCS X. any roster moves that were made, and then also a pretty heavy emphasis on our outlook for the future. So our goal is to hopefully not just replicate the rankings from last year, but obviously the best teams are most likely still the best teams. But that is sort of our thought process going in. Would you like to take numero uno?
I would love to take numero uno. And, they did not win the E championships, but they won pretty much every other event. I
Ever?
still gotta stick with BDS. Now,
Yeah.
also, we haven't seen them on LAN, but if I had to guess, they will still be good.
Yeah, I think there is a fair point to be made. Well, it's slightly unfair, but they were so good. I mean, up until like the Vitality game in RLCS championships, I don't think they had lost the finals. They had a ridiculous record in finals, but that was kind of worrisome because they just didn't look like themselves. And so I know that there will be some people saying that is a worry, but I personally think they'll be good on land.
Yeah, I think they'll be all right. They're still they won. I'm looking at the points from last season. I don't know. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
This might just be spring, but they had 5,000 points over Vitality. They had 5,300, which is 1,900 more points than second place at Team Vitality.
Ridiculous.
They won everything.
Absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, they played pretty much well. Monkey and Extra played boot camps every tournament, so they're like used to being in person. That obviously gives them a little bit of a buff just because of how ridiculous their performance was throughout all of last season. It's like they're used to being in person. So I mean, I don't think there's any real things to be worried about there. They also they had a pretty good off season too. Um, Monkey's team made it to the finals of the Intel World Open, playing with Pickup with Exotic and Casio, and they also made it to the finals of We Play. So like they're coming in with some momentum.
Yeah, should be. I'm expecting them to pick off right where they left off.
So like in the event of a land where they're coming in as like a number 1 or 2 seed out of Europe, how do you think they stack up against like the big four in NA?
That's a hard question. I think if based on last year's performance, I would have put them probably above most probably the NA teams.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously we have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I'd probably put them above the number one team, maybe. But I think it's closer than some other people have said.
Mm-hmm. Like, so you're saying like you'd take them over NRG at LAN?
That's hard because of all the things we said about Energy at LAN last year. I think Energy beats them in the first LAN if they played, but maybe by the end of the season, if they're still top tier, I think they'll be more experienced on LAN. And
for sure.
Yeah.
BDS by the time that like actual worlds come around is going to be absolutely terrifying.
Yep.
All right, so I don't think we really have anything more to add there. I think that number 1 here is pretty obvious. I feel like number 2 is also pretty obvious. I'm gonna have to go with Vitality. Just they're coming out of a pretty major high point from last season, and I mean, I don't really think much has changed.
KDOP on LAN. Championship KDOP. That's all I gotta say. They're gonna be they're just gonna be a problem. They're always good. They're just KDOP and Fairy Peak are just legends, and Alpha is cracked when he's not playing FIFA.
Yeah, fall might be a little tough because the new FIFA is coming out. So
yeah,
we'll be ready for the winter and spring rebound.
I don't know. I have played it though, and it's similar to other FIFAs in that it is just rage-inducing. So
that wasn't a problem for him in the past.
No.
One thing to talk about a little bit is just how absurd he was in that grand finals against BDS.
Yeah, he popped off.
Like, they are always good, but if he is on like that top 3, top 5 in the world like level, that's when they really can do some damage.
Classic. And I think one of one of the main reasons you have to rate Vitality as a top 2 team in EU is that the only event where they did boot camp and were all playing together, they won the whole dang thing and just looked insane doing it, which was the championships. So
yeah, I don't think there's too much of a conversation.
Yep. 3. Moving on.
I'm down for 3.
All right. I guess I'm up. I'm gonna go brand new team here, but if you just look at the players on there and they've played well in the off season, Carmine Corp. It's
yes,
Tachi,
sir.
Asdrol, Stake.
Mm-hmm.
That is the epitome of a team that can do damage. Like I don't think you can say any other new team could do more damage than this team.
This team could play some drop shot.
Yeah. They have the potential to completely change the dynamic of EU, which last year was BDS, Vitality, everyone else, and now it could be a 3-way fight up front.
Mm-hmm. So, like, looking ahead at the season, do you think it's going to be much more, like, coin flippy or, like, I was going to say, like, try and work in, like, a 3-sided coin thing into there. That works. Like, there's going to be a lot more balance, not just BDS winning everything.
I think it'll be more balanced. I think just adding more good teams creates more balance. Even if, like, BDS is still better, just the fact that they have a higher chance of playing a better team in earlier rounds can maybe prevent them from getting to every single grand final.
Yeah, that's facts. And I think in general, the EU scene is stronger, and there are more teams that will give BDS trouble.
Yeah, they have more pop-off potential with the lower teams, which we'll get into.
Yeah. Man, even after saying that out loud, just, like, and thinking back to, like, BDS, like, in their prime, which was the entire year, like, if they get back to that, I still don't even know. They were so good. They were just incredible.
Yeah, we'll see though. Everything obviously is a wait and see game, and we're just making baseless, not baseless, but predictions based on our completely uninformed opinion.
Just undermine our I can't even think of the word. Yeah, you go ahead and undermine us.
Yeah, I am the underminer. Someone call Bob Parr.
You have to stop.
Someone.
I'm putting an end to this.
All right. Someone else, please get that.
All right, number four.
That's all.
And this is sort of like, I think where things get a little bit cloudy. Just because I feel like there is sort of like a slight tier gap after those top 3. But I think this team has the potential to turn it into a Big 4. I think it's a lot like NA was last year with the solid like Big 3 of NRG, SSG, and Envy, and then Rogue and G2 sort of taking turns like filling out the Big 4. And so I think that this is sort of that bubble team. And I'm going to have to go with Dignitas.
Yeah, we talked about this on our failed recording, where there was some discussion here. We talked about a couple different teams, but eventually settled on Dig. And Jack and Jorius are just good. And if Scrub can get back to what he's been able to do in the past, he's insane between the sticks. And he's a world champion, and that can't be forgotten. Even if I think just having good players around him will make him want to play better, and therefore they, as a team, will be a contender.
Yeah, if he can settle like into a more like passive space filling role and truly just like enable Jack and Jorius both like to do a lot of goalkeeping and are completely world class at that, coming from their once background. But like if that's like is Scrub's addition, and it's just like Jorius is free, that like is the scariest sight in all of Rocket League.
Yeah, that could be a problem for sure. Jack and Jorius on the ball. They're an elite twos team, and give them a good third, and I think they'll be good. And I think it's an upgrade over Panda at this point. Obviously, Panda's a legend, but he has arthritis, He's literally an old man at like 25 years old.
One thing I would have really liked to see for them is keeping either Verge or Panda on the coaching staff. That is one thing that is sort of like uneasy to me, just because I think that that would like have taken them up a level. But obviously, they still got to work like in tow with them a whole lot, and like have a lot of their like knowledge and philosophy, and so that's good. But that is one thing that sort of worries me is like Scrub hasn't always been the wise old veteran that his play experience would make you think.
I mean, we can't forget though. They may not have a coach, but they do have the most elite sub in the game in Jesse.
That's true. This is one of the teams that has a very viable 4-man roster.
He definitely wouldn't own goal like 4 times.
Never. I really hope, I guess with the grid being dead, there's less of a chance of it, but I hope we get to see Jesse Esports.
I'm just mad though. I'm looking at the dig page on Wikipedia, and Jesse's name is Connor.
Connor Lansing. How do you, I pray that his middle name is Jesse. I pray. Otherwise, I'm not even disappointed in him. I'm just disappointed in life.
Yeah, that's
like I'm seeing apparently Jack. His name is Jack. I'm looking at Joris. His name is Joris. Like, come on, Jesse, what are you doing?
Yeah. All right, I think that's enough dig talk for now.
I think we can loop back in a couple more times.
All right, so 5 is, I think, a hotly contested position.
Mm-hmm.
Between, you have Guild Giants, which is X-Queso, and Semper, which is former Top Blokes, now with Chaussette.
I think they like it if you pronounce it Smper, like really enunciate the fact that there are no vowels. Yeah,
Smper. I think. Wait, is it me? It is me.
It is.
I am gonna go with Smper for this spot, mostly because I really think Archie is good. He's just good.
I agree with that logic.
And
what? Go on, sorry.
Oh, and the Giants are fun, and they're good, but they're just too inconsistent for me to put this high. I think because 5 is a major slot, and I don't know if the Giants are consistent enough to make it. Obviously, they definitely could be. They could end up getting like 3rd or something. They could win an event with the way they play, but I don't know if they're consistent enough to be top 5.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Simber versus Guild?
So Guild made the move in the off season, so we'll talk about it later, picking up Bluey for Tho. And as a former Triple Trouble fan, I really hope it works out for them. But I also watched Galaxy Racer last season die when they brought on Bluey.
Man. Yeah.
But they do have a full British team, which maybe that counts for something.
Away the lads. So, do you like the upgrade of Chaussette over Flame more than the change of Bluey over Tho?
I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I like the upgrade more, but I think that Top Bloats was starting from a higher position already.
Yeah, that's fair. And this is also you just really buying into Archie Stonks.
Yeah. Archie Stonks are real. I wish they picked up someone besides Chaussette, but maybe he'll prove me wrong and come out in his old form.
Yeah, I'm not huge on Chaussette anymore. Obviously, like there was a time in 2018 everyone likes to talk about. I think it was DreamHack Valencia when he like brought out the Fennec and dribbled on everyone, and that's sort of like the go-to liner every time he plays. But I also sort of think that old like reciprocity roster is cursed. Like Shawset, Farah, and Fruity, like I just feel like they're just cursed to never achieve their potential, and I don't know which player carries the curse. So it's gonna be interesting to see what Farah and Shawset do as like the two remaining links that split off. Just because I have PTSD. I think it was the Rocket Baguette Grand Prix when Astral first joined those two, and they played against Vitality in the finals, and it just looked like it was completely in their hands. And it was like a read that I obviously wouldn't hit, but Farah missed, and it just sort of felt like this is them. And then this season, like the only time they made it to like the finals of an event, they got kind of smoked, I think. So yeah, I'm not huge on Chesed either.
Yeah. I was actually looking. Ferris not even on a team. I guess he retired or something. I don't know.
I mean, I hope he goes to like a coach. I just hope he stays involved in the scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, he's a legend. He's been around for so long. Like he was one of the first like good French players.
And Ferdy's not on the team either, but he's also like 85 years old.
Yeah, he's actually like real life retirement age, not just Rocket League retirement age.
The grand old age of 25.
Yeah. Just put him down. On that light note, let's go on to number 6. So this is going to be just my personal gut feeling. This is obviously going to be very easily disputed, and I understand people disagreeing, but I'm going to go Giants over Guild. I really like. I don't see a world where Giants don't sneak into the top 6. I think that either Semper or Guild will be like more consistent with them than them, but I see them sneaking into that top 6 spot every day just because they're gonna win a major. Just inevitably, there's gonna be one day where they're all just hitting the ball and they won't stop hitting the ball. And every time you think, oh, there's not gonna be a third person to hit the ball, one of them will jump off the wall and once again hit the ball, and it'll just be unstoppable. They'll take down everyone. They'll beat BDS, and that just gives them so many points. And I don't really see like Guild or top looks like top looks Semper. I can't logically bet on them winning a major or winning a regional. Sorry.
Yeah, I think of all these teams we talked about in this area, Giants has the biggest potential and can definitely has the best. Like they're the most likely to win an event of any of these teams, and winning an event gets you so many points versus like a consistent like top 8 finish. Being able to sneak into that top 4, top 2 is such a huge bonus, and they definitely have are way more likely to do that than Semper or Guild.
Yeah,
they're also more likely to not even qualify for an event. But
yeah, or get bounced by like Cookseer's team or something weird, like just like a strange stylistic matchup, and then just fall apart.
They get bounced by the new Queso.
That's gonna break my brain. They are so strongly associated in my mind as Team Queso. Oh my god!
Did he see the new Queso? It just got announced like sometime this week.
It's like a weird combo, right?
It's not a single Spanish person. It's Joyo, Rise, and Vatiro, who are all just like bubble players.
Yeah, I mean that's a cracked team.
Yeah, I mean it's like 2 15-year-olds and a 16-year-old. So
carry on the Queso way of just being completely erratic, but I don't see that team having anywhere near as much success as the Giants team.
No. And I don't think anyone was going to make that point, other than the fact that Giants may lose to them.
Someone was listening to this podcast and just frantically typing up a paragraph. Oh no, they weren't. And now that I said that, they are attacking me and my family.
I don't think we got a full paragraph worth of comments.
Oh, they did. I just didn't show them to you.
Oh, okay.
Engagements were off the charts.
Yeah. Because I definitely can't look at the Reddit posts or the YouTube video.
No, they're all private messages.
Okay.
Of me writing to myself.
All right, moving on. Number 7, the team we've been talking about in this group that we haven't listed yet, Guild.
That's a really good sell. Tell me more.
Devo, Nali are solid. I think they had a very strong finish last year, right? They had a good spring, proceeded to smack talk all of NA,
Yes.
And yeah, I think even with the addition of Bluey, obviously former MVP. Not that that means a whole lot, but they definitely can be good. They definitely can compete for a major spot. They will be maybe consistent, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have too much else to add to that. I think we sort of like let our opinion be known through comparison.
Yeah, I agree.
They do have a good coach in Gregan, and yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of burned out on Guild. I feel like there's just always so much Guild talk happening, and it just sort of like at this point my brain's numb.
Yes. But they are all British, so no language barriers or anything.
Away the lads. I think Gregan's definitely from the UK too, so that's kind of cool.
And they have
And
David Beckham.
yeah, and Shogun was their gridcaster along with Ian Chambers. So they do like Guild also like across their esports. They do a really good job of like making content. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. Hopefully they play into that. That'd be really fun.
All right. Number 8, Europe.
Number 8 for Europe. So this is obviously I think this is sort of like where there's another. Actually, no. I was gonna say I think there's another tier gap here, but I think this one team sort of slots above the rest. Number 8, I'm gonna have to go with SK Gaming. I always forget that they exist just because they were Aether, which was already sort of a weird name, and then they got signed like right before like I think the spring regional or maybe even just right before championships. But this team is good.
Yeah, the Ixo, Tox, and Yukio. Is that the team?
Yukio. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're good. They had some very strong performances at the end. Ixo getting dropped for Bluey was an interesting decision that got made, but it led to SK Gaming, so I'm kind of glad. Obviously, rip Galaxy, but SK Gaming is really fun to watch. They have mechanics, and they're good. I'm running out of things to say.
I feel like SK is like the perfect team for like Reddit armchair psychologists to absolutely tear apart. Like Yukio, there's like all the chatter about how him and Astral were fighting all the time, and there's like an infamous YouTube video of them like yelling at each other in comms. Talks like historically. I think it was after his when he was back on the old Giants roster with Steak and Zamway. They were actually under the name RCD Espanol, but after they failed to promote to the RLCS, he like had like all these tweets saying, "I played like a world champion. Like, what is this? Like, this is like, how did we not qualify? Like, I carried." And I think Turbo just like tweeted, "No, I know what a world champion looks like, and that's not it." So like he has a history of being toxic, ironically. And then Ixo, like it sounds like was sort of like kicked off at Galaxy Racer for personality issues. So it seems weird that this team works, but it does. They're all extremely talented, and they have a pretty like aggressive play style, which is really fun to watch.
Yeah, just gotta hope that everyone can keep their egos in check and the entire team doesn't just implode.
Yeah, that would be ideal for any team, actually.
Yes, for sure.
But their results do not lie. Alrighty.
Do you have anything
Kicking
else,
number
or
9.
moving on?
I think that's good.
All right, I'm gonna go with at number 9 for EU, our first unsigned team that we've talked about on this podcast, and Monkeys. I think that the addition of Cash is a great replacement for Ixo. I think he's a similar player, very mechanical, and I think they can return to how they were doing in the fall and winter last year, which was competing for a major or a championship spot. They were on that bubble of like 6-7, and I think they can be a good team and not do some damage. Why do I keep wanting to say that? But they can win some games in events and definitely push the good teams.
All right, quick brainstorm. What's an alternative saying to do some damage?
win some
Wreck.
games.
Win some games. There's like no metaphor to that though.
No.
And I feel like do some damage like doesn't even imply success. It just implies like playing well.
Yeah.
We'll workshop that. But I'm certainly not mad. I'm a Monkeys fan. Watching their fall with Galaxy Racer and Bluey was absolutely tragic. I love that original team. I loved EXO from the one scene. Shout out to Salt Mine 1. But Cash is just unreal, man. There's like fewer people are more consistent at just hitting the most absurd doubles. That man puts the Dominus to use with a capital U. So yeah, I'm all for this.
Yeah, they're just. I think they're going to be exciting. Arju's good. Matane, he just looks so fancy. You can't not root for him. The dude rocks the tuxedo car in every single game, and you have to respect that.
That is absolute dedication. I'm a huge fan of the tuxedo car, so I have the utmost respect for what a fine young gentleman he is.
All right.
All right. So, filling out top 10, I think that also with the 9 slot, like I think there's a shout for a lot of teams that could go there. I think for 10 is the same. I think the two that are coming up the most for me are Team Liquid and German Amigos.
Also, White Demons.
White Demons. I thought that adding Zamway was gonna take them to the absolute next level, but this offseason it just hasn't. I don't know. I can't consciously put them there. Also, their logo still has the German flag in it, so rip Tigray.
Yeah. Also, I really thought that they were going to be the ones that get picked up by Team Queso, but maybe they have something else in the works. Maybe Barcelona. Do they have a team? I don't know. Maybe they have something in the works, but that seemed like an interesting choice for me. But yeah.
Yeah. And so out of those three, Demons, Liquid, and Amigos, I think that it would be fun to give it to either White Demons or Team Liquid just because, new rosters, both extremely exciting teams. A Chronicky is going to be so much fun that like literally just screams goals. So that's going to be sick. And obviously the return of Flakes is absolutely surreal. I can't wait to see what wacky cars he's going to pull out. And just, I want to see him hit a turtle flick. I don't think that's possible in RLCS, but I want to see him hit a turtle flick.
Didn't he hit a turtle flick in RLCS?
What'd you say?
Didn't he hit a turtle flick in RLCS?
Probably, dude. He's the weirdest player in the history of the game. But German Amigos, they had a 6 spring. Catalysm is the real deal. He's an absolute baller. He I think his team won the Intel World Open for Germany, so coming in hot there. Yeah, him, Rizex, and Tox. And their offseason, like obviously it's all like B and C tier tournaments, but they've won everything they've played pretty much. So I think that even though those are like minor events and a lot of the biggest teams weren't there, like you can't like that you can only beat who you play, and they certainly did that. So I'm going German Amigos at 10.
I like that. Also, I didn't listen to a single word he said because I was doing some research, and Flakes did, in fact, hit a turtle flick goal in RLCS Season 8.
That's I have to look that up after this. Who else, man? Who else? And so just to complete out this list, honorable mentions, I'm going to throw Team Liquid on the list along with White Demons.
White Demons. And then, you never know, Endpoint still has 2 players that were good last year. They were Plays Virtuoso with Seiku, something like that.
Someone on Reddit was absolutely hyping him up. So that could be interesting.
Yeah, I think they deserve a mention.
Yeah, because I know absolutely nothing about them.
BS Plus, I don't know what they're going to do. They haven't announced an official replacement for a Chronic, but it looks to be Raziers, who I'd never heard of, but he won the DreamHack Ones tournament this offseason, so I don't know. we'll see. We'll see if they do anything.
How does Middle East like play into the qualification for the major? They have their own separate track.
Yeah, they have their own. They have their own spots.
Okay.
I don't know how many spots, and obviously every region can compete for more slots at Worlds, but every region's assigned their own, like the same number of slots at each major, which for
Okay.
NA and EU is 5 each, and then there's 6 slots split up between SAM, OCE, Middle East, and I guess Asia.
Okay. Sick. Because it would be fun to sort of compare Sandrock and Falcons, but there's no real need. One thing I was thinking about earlier today is that COVID and just sort of like the lack of international competition, I think is going to really hurt the minor regions, just because they've sort of been isolated from like better like high tier practice, and so I'm really worried for like the first international LAN with them coming in and competing against EU and NA, just because like when they're restricted like that, like Sandrock only being able, not that they were like competing in a lot of lands, but they had no incentive to compete because there weren't like any third party tournaments because RLCSX took up the entire year, so they were just truly kind of like on an island of their own. So I'm scared there, but they're obviously all just so good.
Definitely something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah.
But there are some teams that I think some teams from minor regions that can win games. Obviously Sandrock. What's the is it Cringe Society? What's the really good OCE team?
Ground Zero.
Ground Zero. They look so good in championships.
Yeah.
Was it Torsos I'm showing Amphis. I'm showing my lack of OCE knowledge here.
Yeah.
But they just looked cracked.
Yeah. They're pretty ridiculous. And obviously Furia and Sam played second fiddle to True Neutral, but they're sick too. They're Sam legends. So Express is their third. I would not have without the assistance of the godsend that is Liquipedia.
All right. That wraps up our EU. You want to go through the order again? So
yeah, do you want to alternate readings or?
No, I'll just go through it myself. I don't think there's any reason to alternate it. It would take us an extra minute with mic lag. So 1 Team BDS, 2 Vitality, 3 Carmine Corp, Dignitas, Smber, Giants, Guild, SK Gaming, Monkeys, German Amigos, with honorable mentions to Liquid, White Demons, and Endpoint.
I like that list. I'm a fan.
It's most certainly wrong.
Oh yeah, of course. That's what we're here for. To just throw trash into the internet and see who picks it up.
Clean up our litter, people.
You guys are our raccoons.
At least raccoons are cute.
I had a pretty great thought the other day. I think that we should call this season RLCS 3.
Yeah?
And yeah, that's I thought long and hard about this, and so like RLCS 1 through 9 is RLCS 1, RLCSX is RLCS 2, and we are now officially in RLCS 3.
I kind of hate that.
Well, that's tough because from now on I will be referring to it as RLCS 3.
So every current world champion is an RLCS 1 world champion.
Yeah.
No differentiation between any of that.
No. And anyone who won RLCSX is an RLCS 2 champion from all regions.
I can't get behind this, I'm sorry.
And after this season, once they're done, in Champions Field, there will be one ginormous banner.
All right, let's move on. Our next topic today is just general goings-on of the off-season, the changing of people on teams, trades, pickups, drops, going by the popular name of Rostermania.
Yes, sir. And I have a surprise game for us to play.
Oh boy. I see it written down here, and I know I'm gonna fail.
The game is called Don't Break the Chain. And so just rather than us just sort of like scrambling through Wikipedia, what we're going to do is we're just going to pick a starting point. I'll let you pick an arbitrary point, like a team that made a roster change. And we're just going to try and follow the change until it ends.
Okay.
So like whatever player was traded out, we'll follow that player to the next team, and we'll go through. And obviously there will be some dead ends, but we'll see how well we can do.
All right, I'm gonna give you an easy one to start.
Okay.
It's a very short chain.
I know what you're going.
I'm going to Rogue.
We're going Gyro?
Gyrogue.
So for Rogue, the change was adding Gyro at the expense of First Killer. World's toughest shoes to fill for Gyro. I am a massive, massive Gyro fan, so I have high hopes for Rogue. I don't know if those are rational or not, but obviously, unfortunately, it's a downgrade just because First Killer is arguably the best player in the world. But this is going to be an interesting team, is going to be my take.
And do you want to complete the chain, or do I complete the chain?
I guess the chain goes to you.
Okay. FaZe Clan is the next step in the chain because after being released from Rogue, First Killer replaced Gyro on FaZe Clan, which was essentially just a trade. It was a Gyro for First Killer trade. There's a clear winner there. FaZe has some serious star power. They're going to be good. We talked a lot about them in our last podcast. If you want to hear more in depth than you haven't yet, go back and listen to our NA rankings.
Yeah. Not much more to add there. Team insane. So I guess now you give me a starting team.
No, I gave you the last starting team.
Okay, I give you a starting team. All right. You gave me a sitter. I'm gonna make things a little bit more difficult on you.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go Alpine.
Oh boy. So I know they dropped Percy.
Mm-hmm.
They replaced Percy with a player that I'm gonna name now, which is Kinsey.
Yeah.
Let's go. Do I follow Percy or do I follow Kinsey? Or do I go in both directions?
Follow Percy. Follow
Okay.
the person that leaves.
Percy left, and he is now on Xset, where he replaced Alpha Kep, which I think will be a good team. Percy's good. Alpha Kep, after being dropped by Xset, is now on the Pittsburgh Knights, where he replaced Zombie Poop Shark, also known as ZPS. He's there with Sosa and someone else. Rodoko, that's right. I always forget that he exists. Okay, so now I'm on ZPS, who is now on Sonics with Andy and T. Carell.
Yes, sir.
And that's kind of a branching point. I'll let you take it from here.
I gotta say that was a quality run. You did real good there.
No clicks. You hear that? That's me clicking now. You didn't hear any of that while I was going through there.
That is just purely off the brain.
Off the brain. Definitely remembered everyone's player's name. Rodoko, I'm sorry.
All right, so we stopped at Sonics.
Yeah.
And that was T. Carell, Shock, and Roldiz.
Yes.
And Shock and Roldiz went over to Ghost to join Lion Blaze to form a very interesting team that I have no idea what to expect from, just because I already didn't know what to expect from Sonics.
Do you want to also mention where the other Sonics player came from, since as of right now that's a dead end? We can close that off.
Andy?
Yeah.
Andy came from Charlotte, and that hasn't been announced yet.
Yes.
And so that loop is closed. And so now I'm following Mektos and Freshness,
Yes.
who went as a duo to form a completely new roster at KCP with Wanda Mike.
And Kronovi.
And how could I forget our Season 1 world champion?
And I believe there the chain ends unless you want to get into Astro and Aeon, which I don't.
Have too many intentions of following.
All right, we're gonna end that chain there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other huge moves
in NA.
Yeah.
That pretty much covered most of it.
Yeah, I think for the top 12.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see anything else. I'm looking at the list now. I don't think there's anything else. We're probably missing something huge, but.
Oh yeah, massive. I mean, Trees joined G2.
Yeah, Trees went from G2 sub to G2 third.
Yeah, really, really exciting chain.
All right. I guess I'll give you a chain.
Okay.
Which will be Simper.
Oh man, I do not know this chain at all.
Yeah, I don't either. So I can't confirm if you're right. I'm gonna look it up so I can judge your.
So Semper added Chaussette and dropped Flame. I always get Flame and Cassio confused. Flame is British.
Flame is British.
So I think he formed a British team. I don't know if it's even been officially announced yet.
It has been announced.
I think he played an event with Speed.
No, you are wrong.
No,
there is a team that has been announced.
There is a team that has been announced.
Yes.
And Flame is on it.
Yes. And it is with two RLCSX players who are around a lot.
Who are around a lot.
Who were in every regional.
Interesting. So roughly the same level?
Yeah. I'll give you a hint. One of them has a flick.
Has a flick?
Yeah, named after him.
Okay, so he's playing with Breezy. Is it a third Brit?
Yeah.
It's not Speed.
It is not Speed. It's Breezy's old teammate.
Oh, it's Hips.
Yeah.
It's Hips.
And they're on 00 Nation, which is ex-Nordavind.
Which is Norwegian org?
It is a Norwegian org. They dropped 3 Nords and picked up 3 Brits.
That's weird. I mean, I guess maybe their rebrand is that they're no longer going to be super Norwegian.
Yeah, I guess so.
Sick. Oh man, you gave me such a weird chain. And so Breezy and Hibbs.
Yeah.
I guess going from there, I know that he was benched, but I'm gonna follow Scrub if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Scrub went to Dignitas with Jack and Jorius, replacing the 2-time Violent Panda. Maybe 3-time if you consider an EU championship. I don't know where that COVID championship stands.
But also just known as a Season 1 champion.
Yes, he's a 3-time Season 1 champion. See, it solves the problem of Season 8.
That's horrible.
Violent Panda left to go form the Flying Dutchman with Oli and Tho.
That's a great name.
Yeah, that is great. With Coach Verge, which is really exciting. From there,
is that?
I mean, Tho can take me to Guild.
Okay, yeah.
After giving you the answer, I'm going to pass it to you.
All right, so Tho comes from Guild. Guild replaced Tho with Louis, who came from Galaxy Racer, who are no longer have a team and are now known as the Monkeys. They replaced we're kind of going backwards now, but
Europe is crazy, is what I'm realizing.
they replaced Louis with Cash, who came from Rick's GG, who have, as far as I know, not announced a replacement for Cash. They have not. They still have Mike Boy and Ocelon. Some more Dutchmen.
I'm trying to remember. I saw on Reddit that they played an event with someone as a fill-in. But yeah, they do not have an official. We don't need to go into unofficials.
They've played with Speed.
Okay.
And I think that is a rumor that has some traction, as that was rumored, and then no other rumors about them and no other rumors about Speed happened.
Okay. And Rick's GG is based in England.
Yes. So, yeah, that's what we got. That's the end. Is that, I guess? Oh, and Speed came from Liquid. Team Liquid. I can't do that, but I love that guy. Whatever, I can never remember his name, but I love that guy.
Boyo Arroyo.
Oh yes, Boyo Arroyo. So he came from Liquid, who replaced him with a Chronic and or Flakes. Flakes came from the internet, and a Chronic came from BS Plus, where you could also link that back to where we kind of started with Hibbs and Breezy in Godsmilla.
Wild.
I don't know. That's more of an in-season move, though.
Yeah.
And I think that ends the EU chain. Oh, except for the creation of Carmine Corp.
Yes. And I think that's already stuff we've covered, because Astral came from Solary, which we already got shots at. Farrah's Nowhere. Zamway went to White Demons.
Zamway's at White Demons, and Itachi and Stake came from Giants together.
Okay. And is there any news on Ocelon?
Ocelon.
I surely have not heard anything.
He's on Ricks. We mentioned that.
Oh. Mike Boy, Ocelon?
That's it. It's just Mike Boy and Ocelon. What are you thinking of?
Oh, Tigray. I'm stupid.
Tigray.
As he's fondly known.
He is on Fadeaway with Louis P. and Dead Monster.
All right. We're going to get lost in the sauce of the Europe bubble scene if we go any deeper here.
Yeah. And we've been rambling for a while.
Yeah.
So let's move. I was thinking we could give some awards out to some teams. I have 3 written down here that we could talk about. And then if you have any fun ones you'd like to add, we may continue this tradition into the season, or it might get adjusted. We'll see. So the first award, best move. What team? And I don't think we need to split this up. Just what team across any region do you think made the best move?
I think if we do have regions combined, I feel like this is pretty obvious. I have to go Carmine Corp. That team went from old Giants, didn't even make championships, to now a top 3, even potential title contender in my mind. And so I don't think any team went that far positive.
Yeah, that's an absolutely massive move. I think the only other team you could talk about here, if it works out to their full potential, would be FaZe picking up First Killer.
Yeah. If that team is as good purely as their ability in ranked, then they will win everything.
All right. Now I have one. Worst move. Now I have something in mind on a team that we haven't talked about at all, but I want to see what you say.
Well, I was thinking about it, and now I think I know where you're going.
What?
Were you thinking of the old E United?
I was thinking of E United because I think you could give them this award for the entire or 2 years of 2020 to 2021.
Yeah.
I don't know what they've done here. They dropped Memory, then they dropped Hoxer. And then they picked up Wanda Mike, who absolutely popped off for them, and then they dropped Wanda Mike, picked up Dapper, who I didn't watch them a lot, was solid at least,
Mm-hmm.
and then the move I'm giving them, they dropped Dapper and picked up Savvy or Savvy Seal
Or a Savvy Seal.
or a Savvy Seal. Yeah. I don't know what the people at this organization are doing, to be honest.
Isn't like the Reddit narrative that he's friends with their coach?
He is former twos partners with their coach. Yes.
Yeah. So that seems a little salty, and I like the idea of criticizing that org because at one point they had Ajax, Tristan, and Wanda Mike on the same team. And obviously, you never really know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe it doesn't work. But just like the pure X factor, having Tristan and Wanda Mike on the field at the same time, I think deserved more time than it got.
Yeah, I think that's a team that could have been way better than the current version of United.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see Wanda Mike getting another shot at it on an actual team this year. Well, not really. Kind of a team. Mecta's freshness, Wanda.
Yeah. I don't think. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you go.
I was saying, I don't think any other team made a real negative move. I think depending on how, if Bluey does the same thing on Guild as he did to Galaxy Racer, obviously that's throwing way too much responsibility to one player, and that's terrible. But I'm just still really bitter about that. If this plays out in a similar way, then I think that could be the worst move. But I think everything else in general, and even that one, is pretty positive.
And I think another one, I definitely wouldn't say worst move, but maybe not the best move they could have done would have been Simper. I think they could have done better than Chaussette, but I certainly wouldn't classify it as the worst move of the offseason. Not even close.
If you're going purely off results, I think the actual worst move so far is dropping Tigray for Zamway, but I have faith that will change.
Yeah. All right, and then I have one which is gonna require some thought. Is the most neutral move. So, in other words, the move that they changed players, but you don't think it will actually change anything about their positioning. They won't get any better or any worse.
This is interesting. This is really interesting.
It's a thought exercise.
Yeah.
I don't even have anything in mind. I just wrote this down just to see what you would come up with.
Yeah. I have it sort of like listed out right now. I'm looking. And I feel like the Sonics Ghost trade is going to be a zero-sum gain.
But
I think that
Shock and Rolled is in replace of Mectos and Freshness.
I think that Ghost are going to be where Sonics were last season, and I think that Sonics are going to be where Ghost is last season. And even though that's backwards with the orgs, that's like where 2/3 of the players are. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think that like adding Lion Blaze to the Shock Roldis combo doesn't make me jump in excitement. That's a very defensive team. And ZPS, Andy, and T-Carell will be good, and just kind of like how Ghost was good. Also pretty funny. We literally never talk about Oxygen on this podcast. Ever.
I don't know how we've forgotten to mention them. I really like them, and I consistently forget that they exist. LJ is a beast. And they didn't do anything in the offseason, I think, is part of the problem.
Yeah.
And I don't think we forgot to put them in we did put them in our honorable mentions for last episode, but
yeah. It's just funny. Like I just feel like we give every other team like pretty even platform, but just no real love for Oxygen. So I guess for most neutral, I'd say the Sonics Ghost with that sort of disclaimer that it's each team taking each other's position.
Yeah, I think that's a good observation or good thought there.
Yeah.
Better than I would have come up with, which I didn't have one. Signing Drees.
I mean that's kind of genius. That's the best loophole. Um. So I believe that is it for this episode.
Yeah, I think we're at about an hour-ish, so I think that's a good length.
Yeah. Nice.
Last time we rambled on for an hour and a half and then lost 30 minutes of it, so
Yeah. Seems like this is our happy medium.
um
Uh.
so yeah,
God.
I'll say some things here. Make sure you check out and follow the Twitter account, be the first follower, and the Discord, so that you can stay up to date on all our future episode releases. And on the Discord, we have an open server where you guys can comment, discuss things, give us ideas on what to talk about, because the season doesn't actually start for another like 3 weeks, and I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, but I'm sure we'll come up with something.
Yeah. Because I completely forgot until right now. We actually had someone ask us to discuss SMAD.
Oh yeah, I did see that, and I didn't know what to say about it other than that.
I did a little bit of research, and one thing that I thought was interesting is even though Europe obviously dominated, I'm not taking away from that at all. But of the group stage games, 16 of the 32 were ties, where both teams just won on their home server. And so like it still was like I think more than anything, like obviously it showed that Europe performed better, but it just showed just how big of a differential like ping makes on like very high tier play.
I also would like to show that Dazarin is a horrible GM and should never be in charge of picking any team. His team, I believe, did not win a single game. They went 5-19 in game score. They went 0-6 in every other game. They didn't even draw one. They lost every game. And that's because his team was Mist, Torment, and Turinturo.
Who is going to score?
No one.
I guess
No one is going to score.
Mist, but he's not like a shot maker. He's a shot scorer.
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure Torment has said on multiple occasions that he just can't play with Mist. Like they're friends, but they just suck together.
Yeah, so if you want more top tier analysis on the topics you want, make suggestions like that guy did, and we will do a fantastic job of remembering and giving incredible insight.
Yes.
Also, just wanted to give y'all just a huge thank you. I mean, we're just doing this completely for fun. If literally even one person listened, we would be really happy, genuinely. And just like, just a little bit of positive feedback we got. And we got over 100 listens combined between YouTube and Spotify, which is super, super cool. I think Colin and I only combined for probably about like 5 or 6 of those. So, we certainly take that. So seriously, thank you. We don't know because it will happen after we're done, but I took some online classes on sound editing, so hopefully this sounds better. And we'll continue to work on improving the podcast in general. Colin did a really good job of getting the Discord and Twitter set up, so hopefully there's more ways for you guys to like engage with us and each other. Just because I feel like it'd be really cool if we could build some sort of like small community. But seriously, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I'll wrap things up like I did last time, which you guys didn't hear. But I have been watching my audio feed come in, and it looks right this time. I can see waveforms as I'm talking, so it should be okay.
Fingers crossed, and if not, then you'll never hear this because I'll have to cut it out and record my own ending.
Exactly, just like last time with the super smooth transition cut thing.
The smoothest.
All right, well, that was our recap, or we power ranked EU, and we
Yep.
recapped Rostermania.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't listened to the first episode, I recommend you go back and listen to it if you want to hear about our NA rankings. And yeah, absolutely join either the Discord or the Twitter just to make sure you know when releases are going to be, and subscribe on Spotify and YouTube.
Yep.
So thank you. Peace out.